You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Welcome back to the channel. It's just awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to talk about a homebrew game, or just modified game, for the Sega Mega Drive. This is the Street of Rage number 2, the Punisher edition. So I grabbed this one for the collection and just want to show you here just how it is. As you can see, the label is still loose, and yeah, I think it is just a common problem with all of these things. But nevertheless, what are we going to see and what are we going to get with this version? I really love these homebrew games, homebrew cards, because this is an original game that they modified with something else. And in this case, what we're going to get is the Punisher, with including some extra characters inside the original Street of Rage 2 game. There are many ways to get these cartridges, and basically I think this is something that is very unique and very awesome. But what are we going to get with this game? That's what we're going to take a close look at it today. We're going to play a little bit of Street of Rage with the Punisher and some other characters, and we're just going to have some fun. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell, and let's go. The first thing that they changed out is the text that appears in the intro of the game. The intro itself, with the, let's say, the decal, the pictures, everything is just the same like the original game, but just they changed out the text to give this more like the Punisher feeling. I think it's pretty cool, and there are little details that I can really appreciate when they are modifying a game like this. Like with the original game, we're having 4 characters to choose from. We're having Frank, Nick, Bruce and Arnie. Frank and Nick will share the same move list, and Bruce and Arnie have a completely new set of moves. So let's begin with Arnie, and I will explain what kind of move we have and enjoy some gameplay. So with Arnie we have quite some different new moves. For example, we have the Champion's Elbow. We're pressing forward, forward, B. It's a little bit similar, I'm guessing, with the French Punch from the ground up with Axel. We're having the Parry. With Parry we can basically do a counter attack, elbow, uppercut, German suplex, the Brainbuster, Vault, Hammer Fist, the Champion's Uppercut, and we have a defense special when you're pressing A. If you're looking at this character, even with an old school simplistic game like this, it is just amazing having a gigantic new playlist and a new way to play the game. As you can see, that Arnie is quite overpowered, and on the normal settings it's very easy to run through the game. So I think if you play this game and you want to have a challenge, yeah, I think we shall need to use the hardest mode. Another thing, I don't know if you notice it, but we can run with the characters. I love it, because now we have more speed in the game. The next character we're going to take a close look at is Frank, or the Punisher. So he has the sidekick pressing forward, forward B. Then we're having the blade kick, the gunshot, so he grabs an enemy in the front and press B. The roundhouse kick is more like the hold the B for 2 or 3 seconds and then release. The grenade, forwards and A, and the defense special with just A. But nevertheless, there are quite some different moves and will give you a completely new way to play. But I did notice that he doesn't run, he just roll, and the fun fact is you can just roll very fast through the stages. So you can grab the enemies and whoop their asses. I really like how they did the animations. The grenade is also a possibility to throw. You can get this if you're beating 10 enemies, and then you can get yourself a grenade that you can throw. And a very effective way to defend yourself. But I already mentioned before that Frank and Nick are basically sharing the same move list. And when you're looking at the animations, some of them are differently between the two characters. But at the end, when you're playing around with them, or basically rolling around, you can see that at the end they are basically similar. and just my opinion, a reskin of the Frank or the Punisher itself. Alright, so let's take a close look at Bruce, the last of the 4 characters, and I must say, this makes this game pretty damn wicked. So when you're looking at Bruce, this is also a completely different character. So for example, we're having the sidekick when you're pressing forward, forward B. So basically, let's say some of the commandos are exactly the same like all the other characters, or based on Axel and other characters from the original Street of Rage 2 game. We're having the parry, pressing BC at the same time. That's pretty cool. We're having the face kick, and we're having, for example, the blade kick, the flash kick, and we're having the defensive special. Defense special is something that is very common and you see with many of these characters. But as you can see, that also Bruce is a little bit overpowered and the enemies are not very hard to beat. So when you're playing with Bruce, maybe it's a better way to choose in high difficulty. If it's going to be helpful, I don't think so, because this is just a way you're going to beat yourself through Street of Rage 2 in Bruce Lee style. In one of my previous videos I took one cartridge apart because I wanted to show you what is the quality of the chip, the PCB and the shell. Before we're going to talk about the shell itself, just talk about the PCB. As you can see, a part of it is just a piece of plastic because there is something they need to make for getting the PCB in the cartridge. Because nowadays with the new technology we don't need a lot of stuff. There's only one single chip on it. I hope this quality is a little bit better than my previous models I had in my collection, because those chips were falling off, seriously. But at the end, I didn't have any problems now with the new cartridges. You're going to put it in like this. What you need to do, it's not fitting in perfectly. You just need to wiggle it a little bit, pushing it down, all the way down, and then you can just put it back together. With the, let's say with the shell, there are quite some differences, by the way. This is the cheap version. This is the shell you don't want to have, because if you accidentally drop the shell, it will split open instantly. And with the new version I'm having here in the review, we're having the, let's say, the better version with the 2 screws at the back. And as you can see, also this version suffers from the label that is not sticky too much. Really annoying. They need to use better glue for it. But this is what you're going to get if it comes to the quality. There are quite some different cartridges out there. Keep in mind that you need to buy in quality version. Otherwise, it's highly possible we will have the same problem I had in the past with falling off chip. And you can see with the differences with the shells. The left one have 2 screws like the version I'm having here, and the right one is the 60-bit version that just clicks together. I really hate those cheap versions. I really like the thicker plastic, and it is more durable. If you accidentally drop it, it will not split open like the cheap versions. Alright, so that was a quick look at the Punisher, the Street of Rage 2 game. As you can see, I have quite some different games coming up here on the channel, so it would be great to have you here in the Wicked family. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell and get a notification when I'm uploading a new video. There are so many different versions out there if it comes to Street of Rage 2, Sonic, so many different homebrew versions, it's just pretty damn awesome. But this Punisher game is pretty cool, and the reason why is very simple. They added quite some new features and it's not an easy, let's say, basic modification with a few couple characters. They did quite some different. I can really appreciate this, simply because there is a lot of stuff they changed out and it's really big fun to play this game again with some new characters.